Hello everybody, and welcome to A Link Between Worlds. We are playing in HD, hopefully to do a full playthrough. From beginning to end, it will not be a 100% playthrough, but it won't be a minimalist run either. I'll just be playing for fun, doing what I can while I can. This will be a live stream for those who watch live, but it will be edited and put up in segments and episodes for people who just want to watch later on and don't want to watch the full 2-hour live stream and just want to jump in for certain parts or dungeons or whatever. So if you don't catch it now, you can still catch it later. Don't worry about not tuning in. Let me get everything straightened out so I can see the chat. Alright, we got NJ, Keaton, Manny, Shin, Javier, everybody. Alright. Gully, still sleeping. Wake up. I like how Link, in most Zelda games, he's always waking up at the beginning of the game, but only certain games actually show Link having the nightmare. They don't all actually show what he's dreaming of or what he's doing. Like Breath of the Wild, we just see him wake up. We don't see what he's actually dreaming of. A Link to the Past, A Link Between Worlds. Well, A Link to the Past doesn't show it either, but A Link Between Worlds shows a vague cutscene, kind of like Skyward Sword shows a vague cutscene. Ocarina of Time, let me turn this audio down just a bit so I can hear. Those are games that show a bit more. So something interesting here with this mask on the wall. When A Link Between Worlds released, this mask was a dead giveaway that they were working on Majora's Mask 3D because they'd already released Ocarina of Time 3D and then this game. And they kept on denying that they were working on Majora's Mask. To everyone who asked, they'd be like, hey, in A Link Between Worlds, as soon as you start the game, there's this mask on the wall. Is it a hint towards Nintendo working on Majora's Mask? And they would always be like, no, we just put that there as a fun Easter egg. And it's like, it's not an Easter egg at all. Like, it's literally right there. Easter eggs are things that are hard to spot. This is just a blatant, obvious thing. And then eventually they came out and actually said that they actually had been working on Majora's Mask 3D since before Ocarina of Time 3D released. As soon as they finished the game, before it even released, they began working on Majora's Mask. And they had always been working on Majora's Mask. So the entire time they were denying that they were going to work on the game or that they had plans for it. They were already working on it. And you can kind of tell there's the Wind Waker symbol here on the first picture, because Wind Waker HD came out around this time on the Wii U, and then we have the Ocarina of Time 3D, which came out again around the same time, and then Majora's Mask here. And I guess this picture in between, I'm not really sure what that's supposed to represent. So let's go start our adventures. I guess there'll be a lot of this kind of details and hints and stuff, just trivia facts about other games. That's one of the things that I like to do the most. For those wondering, I am playing on the Citra emulator in HD, so if you've ever wondered what The Link Between Worlds would look like on an HD emulator, or not an HD emulator, but the Nintendo Switch, this is a pretty good example of what it could potentially look like. But it would look even better because this only renders the game in HD. If it was actually made for the Nintendo Switch, they would actually update it, like the music, the textures, everything, the character models. The entire game would look better, not just the jagged edges, I guess. I also have a 4K comparison on the channel that if you want to watch, it compares this game in 4K HD and what it looks like on the 3DS. Mario Link says, I realized every Link have their tunic version different for different reasons. Skyward Sword Link wears it because every knight wears a tunic. Yeah, sort of. Not all games tell you why Link is wearing it. The only time that they really started doing that was Minish Cap by Capcom tried giving the story of why Link has his hat. Ocarina of Time tries giving the story of why he has the tunic in general, because the rest of the Kokiri do. And then Skyward Sword retcons it to Link wearing the tunic because that's just the color for that year of the Knight Academy. And then we have Twilight Princess. He gets the tunic from the gods because that's the tunic of the previous hero. So although Twilight Princess Link has a different looking tunic than Ocarina of Time Link, it's actually supposed to be the same tunic from Ocarina of Time, although it looks a lot different. I wonder if in Breath of the Wild 2 are we going to have to defeat Ganon or Ganondorf? I would say Ganondorf. Some games have you fight Ganondorf and then Ganon, while other games have you fight Ganon and then Ganondorf. Like Ocarina of Time, you fought Ganondorf, the castle falls, and then you fight Ganon. Twilight Princess, the castle, you're in the castle and you fight Ganon, and then you chase Ganondorf on horseback and fight him. Skyward Sword has you fight Demise's beast form and then his true form. Wind Waker has you fight Phantom Ganon and then Ganondorf. Twilight Princess has you fight Ganon. So I guess I would assume that the whole point of Breath of the Wild 2 will be trying to stop Ganondorf from returning to his true form, and then having a big fight at the end, unless the good guy Ganon theory, which Daniel and a lot of other people hate. I think it would be interesting because it's just for this one game. but I like to see them experimenting. Like, a lot of people hate Skyward Sword because it had motion controls, and I'm like, they've been making Zelda games for over 30 years. They have like dozens and dozens of different Zelda games, spin-offs, remakes, original games, everything. What's the problem with one game out of all of those having motion controls? Like, it's just one game out of 20 or 30 or more. Like, one game having motion controls isn't going to hurt you. Let them experiment. That's how they come up with good ideas. Jesse, do you like Michael Jackson? I'm not a huge fan. Sorry if that's bad. It's just not my type of music. Even when I was younger, I wasn't a fan. I've always been into, like, when I was younger, it was rock and a little bit of rap, like Eminem. Now there's also some pop when I was younger too. Now it's mostly stuff like Escape the Fate, who I'm actually friends with. I'm lucky enough to say that I'm actually friends with the members of that band. So there's a couple of interviews on this channel. On the first episode of our Zelda podcast, the 𝐈𝐧𝐬𝐭𝐴𝐺𝐽𝐺 they actually give a question for our Zelda mailbag. Whenever they come to town, we try to hang out. Other bands like Falling in Reverse, Dead Rabbits, Escape the Fate, all three of them are sort of, in a wonky way, the same band because they've all shared a lot of the same members. Oh yeah. This is where the Citra emulator kind of troubles you, because you still have to use the mouse for the second screen down there. Because you can't use the controller for the Alright, I'm gonna pause it real quick. I gotta go check on the oven, but I will be back in like 30 seconds. Okay, we are back. So, while we're in here, a really unimportant dungeon, something that a lot of people don't think about, but was very obvious to me, but in a cool way. The newest Mario game, Mario Odyssey, takes a lot of the ideas from a bunch of different Zelda games and applies them by putting them all together. Like, you can go 2D in the wall, like you can in A Link Between Worlds. You have a talking hat, like in Minish Cap. You can transform into other creatures, like in Majora's Mask, or take control of other creatures, like in Phantom Hourglass with Link, using Zelda to take control of the soldiers. So it combines all of these different qualities and concepts from past Zelda games, but just puts them into Mario games. Which makes me wish they would take some concepts from Mario games and put them in Zelda games. Like Super Mario Galaxy, but as a Zelda game, where there's like a dungeon or a couple of dungeons that just wreaks havoc on gravity. Like how what is it? The Iron Boots and Twilight Princess sort of do something like this, where you have to like walk alongside the walls and stuff. How cool is Twilight Princess? Twilight Princess, Link turns into a wolf, is a lot cooler than the other wolf game that came out a little bit later on, where Sonic turns into a wolf. Where's Sonic? That's the twist, considering how Hyrule turned out and Breath of the Wild demise makes a comeback slowly but surely out of the timeline. The Malice will somehow be used to weaken the Master Sword. Master Sword was already weakened. That was the point of Breath of the Wild, was restoring the Master Sword. I don't think Breath of the Wild would do the same thing again, because the Master Sword at the end of Breath of the Wild is already brought back to its full power. That's some creepy voice acting. That na 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 na. I come in and hear Sonic Unleashed. Interesting. Yeah, because they kind of took the idea from Twilight Princess, where Link turns into a wolf, and then in Sonic Unleashed they have Sonic turn into a wolf or a werewolf. So here we are with episode 2, everybody. Meeting Ravio. We gotta do a couple of quests here before we get to the first dungeon. Oh, you're waking up. Good. I was starting to worry about you, buddy. The name's Ravio. Hey, you listening to me? What? The rug tastes really good or something? So, again, I won't really be reading all of the chat boxes in the game, but you guys can comment below. Let us know if you would like me to read more of the chat boxes. While I'm playing through, I'm mostly going to be giving off some Zelda trivia and facts and stuff like that. Like in the first episode, we were talking about how the mask on Link's wall here, everyone at Nintendo tried saying that Nintendo was not working on Majora's Mask 3D at all. Like if they had enough fan requests, then they might consider it. But when it came time, they actually said that yes, indeed, the mask being on Link's wall was 100% a tease that they were working on Majora's Mask 3D, despite denying it just months before. That's why when everyone says like, oh, well, Nintendo said they would never, ever release Skyward Sword HD, or they're not working on Skyward Sword HD because Aonuma said blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, Nintendo also said they would never make a Mario movie, they would never release their games on smartphones, they would never, the Switch would not replace the Wii U or the 3DS. They would never release an XL version or a second version of the 3DS, and they ended up releasing 5. They were not working on Majora's Mask, and it turns out they were working on Majora's Mask. So there's hundreds of examples where Nintendo said they were absolutely not doing something. In Miyamoto's own words, they would never release a second version of the 3DS. That was his own words. Less than a few months later, they came out and released the 3DS XL. The whole point is they have a marketing team that they pay millions of dollars to announce stuff at what they think is the perfect time. So, you just have to think about this. And for those wondering what A Link Between Worlds would look like on the Nintendo Switch, this is probably as close as you're going to get until they actually release a version of it. But if it did come, it wouldn't just be in HD like this is. It would actually have like all around better graphics, not just a higher resolution. So there's a few things that we have to do. I don't want to go out of order. So I guess we're going to go to the castle first, right? I was about to go to the shield shop, but I don't have enough rupees yet. Or do I? Do I have enough rupees? Let's see. I didn't think I did. And then that one path is blocked off for the, yeah, I do. So I have a 4K comparison of A Link Between Worlds on my channel that you guys can check out. Where is it? Is it automatically? Yeah, it's automatically equipped. Good. Link Between Worlds is one of the few games I haven't played. Is it worth it? Yes. So, A Link Between Worlds, it had a bumpy start. We're actually making a video right now about the history and a bunch of facts about the origins of the game, unused content, and a bunch of other stuff for everyone. It'll have Daniel, me, and Holly Wolf on it. One of our good friends that's been on a lot of our videos. It's weird, you have to talk to this guy before the castle door opens up. But expect that video out sometime soon after this video goes up. It's basically a top 10 on a bunch of facts, but one of them is that this game began sort of like Triforce Heroes, where they had a bunch of ideas for dungeons. So they had like over 50 ideas and concepts for dungeons for the game, and they were working on a new game with the wall mechanic. And at first Miyamoto didn't understand it. Like, he just didn't like it. And he wanted to remake A Link to the Past, basically, on the 3DS. And Aonuma wanted to make his own game, an entirely new game that had nothing to do with A Link to the Past, just a brand new Zelda game for the 3DS, using this new mechanic. And they went back and forth on it for a while, and then they finally ended up compromising to where instead of a remake, they had a sequel slash remake slash... It's like a sequel and a remake at the same time. Because it began as a remake, but then they wanted to make their own game. So instead of a remake, they kept the same overworld and just brought in a new story, a new dungeon, and some new characters. So it became sort of like a reboot, or what I like to call a reimagining of the game. So it's like halfway a reboot, half a sequel. That's, again, that's just how I call it. But yeah, it's totally worth it. I don't know if they will release a remake of it on the Switch, and if they did, it makes me wonder if it would look like this, or if they would make it look like Link's Awakening. I have to say, I don't like the way they did this tilt thing, to where everything in the overworld, like the camera is straight up and down, and then they have all the characters and everything just like shifted and tilted diagonally. Like, why make everything diagonal when you could just tilt the camera and have that same perspective that you have in like Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks and everything? Because you get a similar look without the trouble or the weirdness of everything being slanted. Hey, Javier, that's not nice. We're pals with Patricia, the voice of Zelda from Breath of the Wild. She's been on the channel before. Don't be talking bad. And it's not just Nintendo of America who approved of her. It was like Miyamoto, Aonuma, the actual creators of the Zelda series in Japan, were listening in and at the auditions. Like the people who literally created the Zelda series chose her out of everyone else. It wasn't just one person saying, hey, I like Patricia, let's get her to play Zelda. It's literally the people who made the series, heard her voice go over the lines, and thought she was perfect for that role. So whenever the people who created the game thought of their perfect voice for Zelda, they ended up picking Patricia with that British accent out of everyone else. And I understand you can have some criticisms, but it's like, if that's the voice that the creators themselves wanted, like, they're the ones who made her. Like, a lot of people criticized that she had a British accent, but that's what Aonuma and everybody wanted. It's always weird, like, they give you these things that gives you, like, you can pick what you want to do, but you get the same outcome either way. Even Skyward Sword tries to change it up to where it's like, you'll kind of get different answers, but not really. And then Breath of the Wild sort of takes it a step further. But in Breath of the Wild, it's like, at the beginning of the game, all of Link's answers are just really rude. Like, Link is incredibly rude to the King of Hyrule at the beginning of Breath of the Wild. All of his answers makes Link seem like a snarky, I guess just a snarky bad word. I'm not gonna say it, but yeah. Like when they always talk about making Link be like an extension of the player, and that's why they give Link different answers for you to choose from. But all of the answers, to me, just make him seem incredibly rude. Because it's like, everyone Link comes across at the beginning of Breath of the Wild literally wants to kill him. Except this old man. The old man gives him food, teaches him how to cook, defend for himself, everything. Without the old man, he would be dead. And he's incredibly rude to the old man. Like, give me the paraglider. Talk to Ravio. I think he gives us the bow and arrow. Also, there's a couple of new videos on the channel about some unused items in Breath of the Wild. There was if you guys remember the beetle from Skyward Sword, they brought it back in Breath of the Wild. It was called the Dragonfly, and your Sheikah Slate would actually transform into a dragonfly, and you could fly it around, sort of like the beetle, or like imagine a boomerang that you can just control, or like a drone, basically. You could turn your Sheikah Slate into a drone, is the easiest way to put it. And it had the hook shot or claw shot as well. So there are a few hearts we can get. We'll head over to Kakariko Village before we go to the first dungeon. We'll end this live stream after we beat the first dungeon, I guess. I know there's a lot that we can do before we go to the first dungeon, but what am I doing? Someone named Manny. So let me know what you guys like. What is your all's favorite Zelda game? Or if you're a fan of A Link Between Worlds, what's your favorite dungeon in A Link Between Worlds? Kind of random, but I was sort of... What's the best word to say? I was impressed by it, but it was still sort of a letdown. 100 rupees. Jeez. Do I look rich? Is Old Man Link around? For those who don't know, that person that they call Old Man in this game, that's in the green tunic, is heavily implied, this guy, is heavily implied to be the Link from A Link to the Past. Gramps is his name. He's the one that you fight after you finish all of the Street Pass things where you fight Dark Link. You end up fighting him. And he has like all of the same items that Link does. He... what is it? The person who lives with him talks about all of these adventures that he's been on. And with this game supposed to have taken place like 100 years or whatever after A Link to the Past, then it's all implied that that is like the older hero. So, kind of cool. Hey now. Chill out. Here's the Great Fairy. These are the Great Fairies I like. It looks more like a Kokiri, but I like these fairies a lot more than the fairies from Breath of the Wild. Even the ones from Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask are kind of scary. Alright, this is where we have to use the mouse on the computer. Alright, and here we are. At the dungeon. Asfala. You, stop where you are. What are you doing here at the Eastern Palace? Very creative name. Very creative. Palace at the very center of the east side of the map. So they call it the Eastern Palace. Alright, we have 3 hearts, no bottles, no milk, no extra hearts, no fairies. Can we beat it? Let's see. Alright everyone, welcome to what will be episode 3. We are in the Eastern Palace. It's been a long time since I've played this game. Let's see if we can do this. I feel as if everything is a trap. Really? Jeez, I suck. Haha. Almost fell. Come on now. Oh yeah. Of course. I am dumb. Forgive me. I think it's been like 5, maybe 6 years since I've played through Link Between Worlds. It really does feel like an entirely different game, just being able to play it, ouch, in 3D. Big balls. Big black balls. Feels like an entirely different game playing this in 3D. Or not playing it in 3D, but playing it in HD. That's what I was waiting on. And with an actual controller. I'm playing with a 3DS controller, for those who are curious. Oh yeah. Stupid. Small key. My third favorite kind of key. So comment below, what is your all's favorite dungeon? And why are you watching this video? Are you trying to find your way through A Link Between Worlds? Do you just like the commentary? Are you just a fan of the channel and you watch all the videos by the channel? We'll be trying to give some trivia about the game, or as much as we can. There's not really much to give while you're in the actual dungeons. Alright, so that's that way. What was this way? God, how weird would those things look if they were in Breath of the Wild? This game actually makes you hold up your shield instead of like some of the older games where it automatically holds up the shield for you. I'm confused. It was red. No. Aw. Poor guy. I do not have a key. Was I supposed to go through the other side? I feel like I was. I don't think Sheikah might have been blessed with longevity. In Breath of the Wild, she just basically takes a Fountain of Youth potion that she made. I don't think there's really any... Ow! Dude. Of course I have to take another ride all the way across the merry-go-round. Jesse, do you have a girlfriend? No, I do not. I have a daughter, and any free time I get to go out and have fun, I would rather do it with her and make fun memories instead of going out with some random person. The problem with being, and this kind of sounds braggish or whatever, but the problem with being on YouTube with this many subscribers that I have found is that a lot of people try to take advantage to where they see that you have 90,000, almost 100,000 subscribers, and basically are just like, oh, if I pretend I like Zelda for Nintendo, and sometimes they actually do like Zelda and Nintendo, and they're like, maybe he'll go on it. Like, I never thought I would be the person that girls would fake being interested in stuff to go on a date with. Like, mostly you see in like stereotypical high school movies where like the guy has to fake being cool to impress the girl, where now it's like the girl has to fake being impressed with nerdy stuff to go out with the nerd, which is like a really weird, obscure world that we're living in. And then sometimes you end up going on a date or whatever, and the girls are just into partying or having fun for like a few weeks and aren't interested in an actual long-term relationship. So, yeah. Like, they're all fine with hanging out, going out, hooking up, or whatever, but not long-term relationships. And with a daughter, that's my main focus. And then again, you get the girls that are just like, he has almost 100,000 subscribers. If we go on a date, maybe I'll get some of those followers on my Instagram account because they want to be noticed because they're models. And they want more Instagram followers or something weird like that. When I'm like, no, just because you post pictures on Instagram doesn't mean that you're a model. Like, show me the cover of a magazine or website that you were paid to be on. Then maybe you're a model. Not necessarily like... There we go. I don't know. It's a weird world. probably gave a very confusing answer, but that's my answer. I still have no idea what I'm doing. Did I get everything correct? Because it's just weird, like people think because you have followers on YouTube that you're famous, when that doesn't make you famous at all. So here's the the true test of strength. You guys. Oh, look at this craziness. After all your posing, all your preening, just look at you now. Now my fine fellow, prepare to be made into my latest work of art. You'll have a privileged place in my collection of sages. What is that in the chat? Robots? Left mask, savage Jesse, but also honest. I mean, you can be an aspiring model or whatever. I don't mean to take anything away from people who are like starting out modeling or whatever, but like that's just the way that I view it. Like anyone can just put model in their description and take selfies, but like you have to model a product or for a company or something. I don't know. Like that's my idea. Man, he gets angry. Ouch! Fire! That was it? Really? Enough of this. You're going to spoil everything. You forced my hand. I must brush you aside. Why wouldn't he do that sooner? Like, if he could always do that, why would he allow himself to be hit with 100 arrows? What a sad, drab painting you make. You cannot rot there for all I care. Or you can rot there for all I care. Ooh. Now onward. My collection requires even more perfect paintings. Oh, how I long to hang that exquisite Princess Zelda on my wall. Look how cool it is. In HD you can actually see the scribbles like it was circled around with crayons. Look at that Superman punch. See, this is what I'm talking about. Look how cool this game looks in HD when it's showing a 3D. Image. Like, this game looks amazing. It needs to be on Switch. Link's Awakening looks amazing as well, but Link's Awakening There's just something about it, how it switches between the 2D and the 3D. Honestly, I thought I would die during that dungeon. I will if I don't get a move on it. You got an energy potion. It refills your energy gauge. So, after this, we will end it for episode 4. Alright, yeah, so there are rupees going across. I'm counting this as part of the dungeon. I don't know if you would, but I am. Because technically we're still on the dungeon. And this has very dungeon-like qualities. Look how creative they got with this game. Some of these puzzles are just genius. You really have to force... Okay, so there's a way in, but let's take a look over here. There's probably a purple rupee. Now I can buy that bottle. I'll go in there, they'll be like, how'd this kid get all that money? He was broke before. He couldn't even buy a glass bottle. How poor was he? Seriously, I still can't go through there? Really? I'm gonna fall. Ah! How dare they? Oh, there we go. Now I can get to it. Alright. What are those, though? There's still those or not rumors, but those places on the map that I didn't get to. I don't feel like I left anything out, though. I feel like I got everything. You finally found your way back out of the Eastern Palace. Alright, everybody, welcome to episode 4. But since we finished the dungeon, I'm going to have to end it here. But thank you all for watching. We will have another live stream here in just a couple of hours from the Geek Apprentice, who will be playing a a special game for the first time on this channel, The Sims. So tune in with her to check that out. It'll be a lot of fun. She has characters based off of all of us in the 𝐓𝐼𝐢𝐭𝐴 Games cast. So it'll be me, the Geek Apprentice, Kayla or 𝐓𝐼𝐢𝐭𝐴, and Daniel or Capt Bergerson. It'll be a lot of fun, and she's basically going to have characters based off of all of us. But what of Asfala? No, you guys taking Asfala too? Worse still, he now has 2 of our sages. And that fiend said he was going after Princess Zelda next. We mustn't let that happen. Earthquake! My word, what was that? Are we too late? Something dire is happening at Hyrule Castle. There's no time to waste. Ah, look at all those colors. Oh, what's going on? That barrier. I've never seen such magic. I daren't approach it. But we must break through somehow. Princess Zelda and Lady Impa are trapped inside the castle, not to mention the hundreds of guards inside. Listen well, Link. We must turn again to the legend of old for our solution. These abominable events are an echo of what happened all those years ago. Then, when the castle was in the grip of evil, the hero of that day found the Master Sword. The hero first had to claim the 3 pendants of virtue to prove himself worthy of the blade. But there we are already thwarted, for one of those pendants is inside the castle with Princess Zelda. Oh, what a quandary. We need her pendant, but there's no way to get it. What's that? It can't be. You're wearing. That's the pendant of courage. What in Hyrule are you doing with it, Link? She gave it to you? A special charm? How right she was. She must have sensed the evil in Hyrule and the rise of a new hero to meet it. So is it you? It must be. Why else would the princess have given you the pendant of courage? She knew you would need to get the Master Sword. Well then, my young hero, you've got quite a quest ahead of you. You have to find the other 2 pendants. One pendant has been enshrined in the House of Gales, and the other pendant in the Tower of Hera. I will mark those spots on your map, Link. What? You got the pendant of courage. Good thing Princess thought ahead. But first, it seems prudent to save before taking up such a quest. Care to do that, young hero? Yes. And this is where we will be ending the game. Crazy. Breaking the 4th wall. The wisdom of 𝐓𝐼𝐢𝐭𝐴. Do not know how to say his name. I shall head home to search my library for clues to who the other 7 sages of our day might be. So for now, it is all up to you, Link. Whoa! Spiky dude. Let's go back to the house and save. I like how Link's the only one that lives alone in the game. Like he's the only one rich enough. Alright, so we will be getting a bottle, doing some other dungeons on the next live stream. That'll be tomorrow. Tune in, and we will have the edited versions of this stream up for everyone to watch later on. Each will be its own episode, so episode 1 will be making it to the first dungeon. Episode 2 will be defeating that dungeon, and so on. have a good night, everybody, and we will see you again in just a couple of hours for the Geek Apprentices stream.